Hello my friends, thanks for tuning in. I hope you're doing well. I have an entire brush set that probably goes above and beyond the amount of brushes I would even need for a full face. I have a whole brush set that I'm going to be trying out today, okay? And I saw them on TikTok. They're part of the TikTok shop. So therefore, like, if you start watching some videos about these, you keep getting more and more, I feel like. These posts where I think if you use the link, these people are making a commission and they're talking about how great these brushes are. And I thought, wow, these brushes really do look good, but at the same time, is this just a really good way for people to make money off of other people buying them? Are they legit? So I ordered the brushes myself and it was around $25 to get this whole set. And let me show you. In this hand, here's 6 brushes, not double-ended. There's a set that's just face stuff, but I got the one that included eye brushes too. This is, let's see, 8 more. So there's 14, 15, 16. We got a kabuki and a retractable. And then 17, 18, 19, 20. These are the double-ended ones. See that? Nice full-size, dense, soft brushes. I gotta say, that's the way they appeared to me in the videos people showed, and taking them out, like, they seem to be really nice quality. They have this kind of like chocolatey colored metallic handle. It reminds you of Hourglass brushes. And the brand is Mange, I guess, M-A-A-N-G-E, and like these eye brushes do have numbers and names, and then the larger ones just have numbers on them. But yeah, 25 bucks for all these brushes. Obviously, it goes even beyond what I would need for a full face of makeup. Like, you could pick and choose. You could make some choices based on like little size preferences that you might have. But I wanted to try it because I thought I could be the voice of an unsponsored review on them, or an unpaid review. And also the fact that if they really do work out, that could be a great thing for somebody. This is a lot of brushes. This really seems all-encompassing, and sometimes that's the thing that'll get you. You know, you could watch somebody's really affordable makeup routine, maybe mine included, and what nobody's really talking about is what's the cost of all the brushes and tools being used. I've really gotten down to using mostly drugstore brushes, but there are a few exceptions, and even the cost of individual drugstore brushes can add up. I mean, a Real Techniques brush, while inexpensive, is not free. And I feel like time is ticking away from me this morning, so I gotta get going on this. I'm just gonna talk about each brush that I choose to use as I go, and then at the end, any unused brushes, I'll fill in and mention what those were. First up, I'm gonna put some primer on. This is just my Maybelline Perfector 4-in-1 Glow Makeup in Light. So it has a little light tint and some sheen as well. And it's very thin. And I'm gonna use this brush right here. It has kind of an interesting cut. It's dense, but it has, I think, just enough movement to be good here. It's the 516-70. I'm just gonna blend this around on my skin. It feels super soft, really dense. I feel like this is actually a lot like a brush I have from Hourglass. I don't have it out here in my brush storage right now, but it's this shape and size. Okay, easy blend with that. The cuts of the brushes seem very uniform. I'm seeing like there's one little shedding hair there, but it looks like a very perfect cut. You know, this has a little taper. They are synthetic bristles, by the way. Let's see how this does with foundation. What will I use today? Let's try our e.l.f. Soft Glam foundation today. This is the medium buildable coverage, long lasting. I have shade 25 light neutral. And we'll just patch this around. Now I can really get a sense of this brush using it for foundation. I really like the shape and size. I like the amount of movement in these bristles because this size isn't huge, you know? So the bristles need to have enough mobility to make it feel like it's, you know, getting across the skin. Really able to blend, not just like pat in and apply. I also like the thickness of the handle on this one, like really something to hold on to. Okay, super good. I'm very excited about what I'm planning to use for concealer. I was sitting on the couch last night and I was just going through thinking, how will I work these into my routine? This is the 520-10, and it's got a couple of sides. One is a little smaller and then one is a bit fuller, and I thought it might kind of mimic what I do with the e.l.f. Duo brush. This could technically probably do foundation, although it's just a little tighter, not quite as big as what I just used, and I feel like it could be just perfect on concealer there. I could see this doing cream contour perhaps, lots of different things. And I'm gonna keep it drugstore today since the brushes are low cost. We're gonna stick with drugstore makeup. I'm going to use Revlon Color Stay Flexwear in porcelain. Right? It is no, it's not porcelain. It's vanilla. Come on, Em. I'm just going to dot it around like I normally would. I feel like I'm going a little quick today because I started this video just a bit behind. I'm going to take the smaller end of this. Now this is bigger in comparison to the end of my e.l.f. Duo brush that really needs to be washed. But I still think with its little angle, it's going to really nicely hit inner corners like that. And I'm going to spread, and I'm going to use my bigger side for additional blending. Good, getting right around the nose. This is where it's just looking kind of patchy and spread out. Now to the bigger side. Oh, I'm loving that gentle angle because I don't have that on my e.l.f. brush. Loving the way that's working in there. Just as far as the feel across my skin, they're as soft as you expect they're gonna be. Very dense, very soft. Flipping back to the smaller side just because I really need to get in there. I'm loving that for concealer. I just hope these stay accessible, you know, and I hope the deal remains the same on them. Price doesn't eventually go way up because so far this is very impressive. Well, that executed my little two-step blend on concealer flawlessly. The gentle angled cut, but it's not like blunt. So the bristles are still tapered a little bit. It's not cut like a tight edge. It's got like a little bit of taper up to it. So that angle is softened and it just makes for really good blending there. Digging that. For a little bit of setting powder, I think I'm going to use this brush. It's called the pointer brush. And something I noticed about these that are not double-ended, can you see there's kind of like a sheer, practically transparent base to the handle on these? And then they've still got that chocolatey looking metal right there. I'm going to use Maybelline Fit Me, and it's been a while since I've gone in with a brush for this powder. This is kind of like an egg-shaped brush. It's fitting that area nicely. You can see there's tons of movement to these bristles. It's not like a super dense lay-down kind of brush. I feel like I got kind of a generous amount on my brush. It's giving me kind of a light application and I can just sort of apply and then blend all in one. I'm gonna hit T-zone with this. Normally I would be using just a little powder puff, but I want to do the whole job with these brushes because like I said, there's more than enough. T-zone feels set. I think under eyes are set, yeah. Set but not too dry. For all over powder, like there's so much I could do. I feel like I could be content still using that brush for powder, but we've got a double-ended one with one that's about the size of what I just used, a little bit bigger, a little more pointed, and it's got two ends like that. Or I've got a singular one that's slightly more compact than this, and it just says powder brush. I think I'll use that one with a little bit of Superstay. My Superstay Hybrid Powder Foundation, I'm gonna just roll it in. This is enjoyable. The softness is really fantastic. Is it a known brand to me? Not a bit. Yes, I was skeptical, but a good deal is a good deal. And with the expense of just all the things we encounter every day, you can find a brush set like this for a really affordable price. I think that's pretty cool. So that very easily blended my powder. In comparison to the one I used on under eyes, you can see it's like a mama and a baby. Next up, if I were to do some cream contouring, we've got all kinds of things here. We do have a really standard looking blush brush. I am seeing occasionally like one rogue hair maybe on one of these. That one's not about to shed. I'm just gonna pull it out. Not seeing a lot of that consistently, but just here and there. If I was gonna do some cream contour, we do have this really interesting little double-ended one with a very stiff side that seems like it might just be good for the application of some cream contour. And then, I mean, that feels like a powder brush. I don't know if I'm gonna use that. Got one that's a dense, like a Sigma F80, or just a flat top kabuki, and then a blender side here. I think that's maybe what I'll use. I haven't used my Hard Candy Face Off in a while. This is in the shade Sweet Tea, and it's got a little doe foot applicator, which we love. We want to see more of that, but I can just swipe this around and then blend in. This is the 520-09. I wish they could get more of just an easy to remember name on all of these. The eye brushes have names. Oh, well, that's an easy blend. This is actually a really great shape and size for blending contour, just if you have a brush like that. By the way, in terms of the shipping, if you've never purchased from TikTok Shop, I bought a few things here and there. Sometimes they come pretty quick. These took a little less than a full week to get to me. Any extra, we'll just go down there. Fully blended, and then I see myself using this side. Look at that long angle, long bunch of bristles there, but yet stiff enough to feel like you've still got control. I'm gonna do some powder bronzer on top. This feels like a really down to business video. Like I'm not doing a lot of chit chatty because I've got a lot to cover. I'm using Rimmel Natural Bronzer in Sun Bronze. Oh, that picked up well. There are several brushes that could do this kind of function for me. But if you're really like strategizing and you're traveling, I mean, obviously the angled brushes are a 2-in-1 kind of thing, so I like a little multi-purpose moment. It's just so soft, and I was kind of wondering, they look soft, they appeared to be good quality from what I was seeing people use, but are they dense enough? And I'm definitely seeing that we have a variety of densities. Some are more dense than others, which is kind of what you need, so I'm pleased with that as well. Heck, maybe I'm gonna show up on TikTok talking about these too. Just so far, here's what we've used. This was primer and foundation, not double-ended. Then this was concealer. Love that. Thumbs up on both of those experiences. Then we did a little light under eye setting with this guy and powder with the slightly larger version. And then this was our cream, contour, and bronzer. Now for blush. We do have one that's just labeled blush brush right here, and I feel like it would be a perfect size. We've still got this guy that could potentially be blush. This we didn't really use on the chiseling aspect. I think this could be a real sculpting contour brush, even if you were really into nose contour. We've got this brush that says sculpting. That could be a fine just standalone powder brush, bronzer brush, whatever. And this one says angle highlighting. And then beyond the kabukis that we have, that wraps up face. And what if I was gonna do cream blush? I feel like this could be either. This could nicely probably blend out a cream. Let's try it. I've got one out here from Wet n Wild. It's the Mega Glow Lip and Cheek color in Rosy Romance. Let's just pop a little on and see what this old girl can do. I was kind of wondering if it would be stiff enough. Like, I'm used to blending something like that out with a brush that's roughly this size, a little bit smaller, and definitely stiffer. But this is doing the job of Sephora 56 very nicely, thank you very much. Completely blended. And I mean, it's not really holding any moisture in there, it doesn't feel like, so I could go on and top with some powder, same brush. I want to see how it handles like a really pigmented powder blush. So this is my L'Oreal Infallible in Confident Pink. It's a matte, very full color blush. Just gonna lay it down in there. See, it's got a nice taper, so it's picking up all along that side. I'll tap off a little excess. I'm a little bit scared. Oh yeah. Can she blend? Blend that powerful blush out. I can very much use the side of the brush, but I find myself also going to the tip just as I buff. This is going to be a strong blush no matter how you slice it, but I do feel like I'm getting blended. I feel like all in all, among the face brushes, you're loaded with different powder options. It would have been nice to maybe see something else that really closely mimicked the Sephora 56 on a double-ended, like one size a little smaller, one a little bigger. But this one called Blush Brush can really all around do blushes fine, it seems. Adding just a bit more. You know we like our blush. And blush always, it's gonna seem strong right now, and then it's all gonna fit in by the end, you know. And then next, I'm gonna move on to the Angle Highlight Brush. And this, I could see this doing cream or powder, whatever. Got a nice little angle there. I could also see this doing blush, actually. I could see this blending a cream blush. Okay. Yes. This is from Hard Candy. It's the Rose Gold Highlight, and I kind of go between these lighter ones. Tap off excess. Whew, I got a lot cloud of dust around me. It's not bad dusty, it's just there's some powder kick up. Ooh, look at that soft glow. I haven't used this one in a while. This is nice. I like this. I feel like I'm really cheating on my Real Techniques setting brush right now, but this is good. So just to review face-wise what did not get used. We didn't use that sculpting guy right there. We didn't use the like double egg-shaped brush, and we didn't end up using this one called sculpting brush. Could have been bronzer, could have been powder. And then also we've got a kabuki. Okay, Bare Minerals, anyone? And we've got a little retractable here, which is like that. So this is much stiffer than this kabuki. See how much movement's in those bristles? And then this one is like your little on-the-go foundation coverage powerhouse. One thing that concerns me here, I wish there was more length somewhere in here. Like, I get that the brush is kind of being squeezed to keep it dense, but in cleaning it off, you might want to be careful to not get too much water or liquid down in here. You know what I mean? I just don't want to mess with the mechanics of the brush and seeping down into that little retractable slider thing. Just something to think about. I would clean that pretty carefully and maybe clean it with something that's not too like free-flowing liquid. Maybe spray some of that Cinema Secrets brush cleanser on a paper towel and just clean this one off by wiping back and forth. I'm gonna do my brows, and guess what? We have a brow brush. So the packaging on these eye brushes, we're seeing again that sort of transparent bottom to the handle and then the brown metal appearance there. This is our only double-ended eye-related brush, and it's got the metal part as the ferrule and then the transparent part in the middle. And this is called Eyelash and Eyebrow. So we've got a spoolie and we've got a thick angled brush. And minus that, we have 7 different brushes for eyes, and I'm feeling very encouraged by the shapes and sizes I am seeing here because I'm not seeing a lot of oversized brushes. Let's see, this could be workable for a pomade. I'm gonna use my little e.l.f. bite-sized brow palette. Are they still selling these? This is the dark brown. It's got 2 waxes, one clear, one tinted, and then 2 powders. Let's go for it. I'm gonna go into the brownie wax with my thick angled brush, and I'm just gonna work over these brows, trying to fill in, and then I'll probably top with a powder. But just going through with a little bit of a waxy consistency first will help my powders cling. Our pool is officially closed for the season, which is a really good thing because we're starting to get a lot of leaves in there that I could not keep up with very well. Because we have so many trees in our backyard that are now starting to shed, and it just makes me feel better to knowing it's not sitting there running because we haven't been swimming in quite some time with the up and down temperatures and rain and whatnot. So that's just the waxiness, and then I'll go into this cooler brown again with my angle. I'm going to be careful here because I know this is like a pigmented powder. So I'm going to start in the most dense part of my brow as I get going with that, and then kind of pull out toward the tail, and then we'll gently blend inward too. And you can always use your little spoolie, works fine. I'd tell you guys if I was running into some glaring issues with these. And like I said, most of what I saw in terms of people talking about these brushes on TikTok was the set that involved only face brushes. But I thought, if I'm gonna try this, let's do the eye brushes too. Because frankly, in the drugstore makeup brush landscape, it's the eye brushes that are the hardest to nail, I feel like. Much harder to find proper eye brushes than face ones as you go about your day-to-day in the drugstore. Just my opinion. I'm really stuck on my Profusion brushes, but it's good to be able to share an option, an affordable option. I'm going to use a little brow lamination gel, but that angled brush worked fine. I liked how it was a little bit chunky for brows. I'm going to use a slightly thicker, really firm, dense angled brush if you're working in brows. Okay, we good? We're going to use Milani eyeshadow primer. Comes as a shock to no one. So what would be a crease brush here? Take you through the options, and everything is sort of on the more compact side, which I like. This large shader brush, it feels creasy a little bit, but also more flat. Got an angled brush. That feels pretty good for crease. A slightly elongated brush that's screaming one shadow look to me. We got our small blending brush. That may be where I start. It's just kind of like a classic dome shape, but a little bit smaller. That's the 28. And then this one that just says blending brush feels really compact and like it could be very good for outer corner stuff. And then these 3 are just kind of like flattened out eye brushes with a little fluff in various shapes. And then we got a couple more like very flat options. For eyeshadow today, I pulled out my NYX Ultimate Vintage Jean Baby palette because I love this palette actually. I think this is so cute and so fun. I'm taking the one labeled 28 small blending brush. And I'm going to go to this rosy color right up here. I'm just gonna see how that goes starting out in my crease. I'm really surprised that the size on these brushes is so really nicely contained. So many times in eye brush sets, I feel like you get things that are way too big. That's doing crease easily. That's a really light shade. We're just getting started, but I'm going to continue blending it up and out. Then I think I'll deepen it up a little bit and go to this brown right here. Layer that into the crease. I really like the way this is fitting my crease, little just eye socket area there. And again, very soft. Blending back and forth. Compared to my Profusion crease brush, it's just seeming a little bit smaller, but totally working. It's just like a little different shape. It's coming more to a point, whereas that one was a bit more wide. Fully getting the job done. What do you say we take it one step darker before we move on to like maybe some of the deep blues in here? And go a little bit to this brown. And I'm not scared to pick it up with this brush because, again, I'm not intimidated by the size of it. Okay, it's really able to place it where you want it precisely. Every time I think about this hurricane situation, I start to feel sick to my stomach. For these people in and around Tampa, just the western side of Florida there, like, I get nervous about severe weather in my area. I can't imagine a hurricane. Just the stress and fear that those people must be under. I'm so sorry that you're dealing with that if you're in that area or you're trying to get out of that area. Just hearing the weather reports and like the expectations from the meteorologists, like I know that's got to be so hard to hear. I guess I haven't checked this morning yet, but hopefully maybe some things have changed for the better. I'm not sure. I just decided to grab for the little angled one, the angled shading 4, just to have something bare to kind of blend an edge with. Is it garbage day today? Must be garbage day on a different street. Or I'm hearing something else. Really pleased with the crease setup there. I don't think I'd really change anything. As far as flat brushes, here's what we're working with. One is just a really compact flat size. One has a little bit more fluff to it. And I like that we've got 2. I would say if I'm patting on the outside, I'm going to start with this one called Small Eyeshadow Brush 29, and then the other one is called Medium Shader Brush 2. This one, being very compact, I think could be good working inward if you needed to, and this one having just that bit more fluff toward the tip, but still all in all flat. That'll be good, like reaching the crease. Am I doing any wildly different pattern than usual? No, I want you to see the normal steps Emily might take, but using different brushes to get there, okay? So I'm gonna go down, let's go to this deep, murky, like navy at the bottom. Let's just see how this goes. Patting on the outer part of my lid. Okay, really getting it where I want it to be, feeling a little smaller than my Morphe flat brush, but that's okay because it's not too small. It's really still, you can see, able to cover my whole outer lid and still pick up some product actually on the tip, which is applying to the crease itself. That practically looks blended already, right here. And I never actually saw anybody apply with the eye brushes. I saw some quick demos with face brushes and people showing how those worked, but I am really pleasantly surprised so far with these eye brushes. A little bit more, really feeling like I can touch my crease with that brush, and wedging it in there is no problem at all. This blending brush number 7, I was mentioning that looked like a good size for outer corner. I want to do a little bit of that just to kind of confirm. Maybe we go to this Dusty Periwinkle. Yeah, it's kind of a neat color. It's giving everything a little bit more of a grayish look. It's having to overlap some of those browns, but I just wanted to see it do some work in the manner I might use my small pointed brush. The thing the eye brush set might be lacking a little bit of is like a smudge brush. Actually, that brush that I just used on the outside could do a fine job right down in here. It would fit that area nicely. Where are we going? Back to this. Just want you to see that I'm getting in my crease with it, and then I'm like buffing it up. It's so working with like the shades in my shirt. Murky, really dusty, you know, a hint of navy, but it's not a loud blue by any means. It could be louder, obviously, with some of the choices you could make, but I just wanted it to really mesh with what I was wearing. I'm now gonna go to my other flat brush here, the one that was really compact, Medium Shader Brush 2, and I'll take this blue, matte blue right here. I guess we've kind of put together a bit of an all matte look, haven't we? This would also be a good brush for like packing on a glitter or any kind of cream texture that you really wanted to pat down. Looking good. It doesn't have a lot of movement to it, so I would say stick to small areas. It's not like teensy tiny. as you can see, the amount it's taking up on my lid. But yeah, just real stiff, very flat, doing the flat brush job. And a lot of times this type of brush is left out of an eye brush set. So we're glad to see it. I mentioned this brush being a possible smudgy moment, so I could do that. I could go just head on because it can pick up from the tip. Let's just go into that blue and just let it ride right down here. Real little smudgy, kind of like lower liner. Don't get too much on your brush in. Okay, right in here, see how it's just hitting that lower lash line, not going beyond it, not creating a fallout concern. That is the Small Eyeshadow 29, if you're following along at home. Okay, so that's a pretty basic eye look for me, just in terms of the different steps I did. So just to review, we started out with the small blending brush that had that nice taper all over. That was Crease. I think I grabbed this little angle brush just to use bare and kind of blend out edges. This was patting on the outside, that one, the 29. We had our other flat brush option that's super duper compressed and flat. And our outer corner, we used the blending brush 7 to really hit that outer corner. We used that kind of medium bluish color and just worked it out up in there. And that was a really good size for that. And of course we used the brow brush, so that left 2 additional brushes here. One was this kind of larger, the one called Large Shader. I could see that if you were just doing a real quick look and said, I want it all over my lid and I also want it in the crease. Same story for the short shader as well. This could give you an even smudgier lower lash line because it's really going to pick up right from the tip. Or possibly crease if you needed an extra little crease blendy right in here. It could multitask in a few different ways, but nothing is oversized. Nothing feels like something where I'd immediately say, no, I can't use that. I could potentially use all of these. So now I'm gonna put on some mascara and find my lip color, and I'll join you with a little wrap up. Here's the finished look. I just used my Wet n Wild So Defined mascara there on top and Cali Ray Come Hell or High Water on the lower lashes, hair down, and it's just very straight today. I washed it last night, so this is absolutely nothing done to it. This is what I've got, and I'm so happy about that. On my lips, I used my Superstay Matte Ink Crayon in the shade Lead the Way. This is the first one of these I ever tried, and then over top of that, I put my Wet n Wild. This is the Cocoa Rose shade of their lip oil. I love those lip oils so much. Very hydrating feeling, not sticky at all, amazing scent. And that is my finished look, and I have 0 complaints about the way this look came together with these brushes. I had brushes to spare, which was nice, but depending on personal preference, the shapes and sizes you like to use, I think it's good to have a little wiggle room there. So if you prefer a different brush than what I use, there's probably something that's part of this set. I'll have the link to where I bought these. I'm not making anything off of that link. I'm just sharing because I just wanted to provide a detailed and unbiased review on this stuff. I just saw so many videos making them look so great, but not giving a lot of detail, and it's just purely raves. I guess at this point, trying what I've tried, I could say worth the hype. Really enjoyed my experience using these brushes today. And if you're looking for a good quality, all-encompassing, affordable option, I'm not sure how you can get better than this for 25 bucks. So thank you so much, my friends, for watching, and I'll see you again very soon. I love you. Bye.